We're going to turn now to columnist for the New York Times, Nicholas Kristof. Nick, I know you've got a lot that you're writing about here, 12 steps to confront this. But before that, I just want to ask your reflections from what you're seeing here in the U.S. You travel all around the world all the time. Are there any comparisons that you can make from the work that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think this has to some extent been a wake-up call, and that, Americans think that we have the greatest healthcare system in the world, the greatest technology, the greatest science, and we have clearly been left behind compared to other countries in our response. And partly that's a question of political issues, but frankly, it's also because I think that we have emphasized clinical medicine, but we frankly haven't done as well with public health. And the lack of access also plays a role. So places like Singapore, South Korea, I mean, even Japan has made some impressive headway on this. And I think in particular, Taiwan is another example. I mean, South Korea and Taiwan, I think, are excellent examples of places that put in place really good public health systems and responded very aggressively. And as a result, they have saved lives in both those places. We should be learning from them.
Gene.
Nick, I think you're a New York Times columnist. I think a lot of people, think of you in that context. But you're from out west. You're from a place where you definitely see and feel that sort of rugged American individualism. How do we sort of reach and in some cases alter this sort of fundamental American character of individualism, of going it alone, of I'll do what I please? Is that an issue here, and how do we get to that?
It's true that has been one strain in our history, and I think it's been a unhelpful strain in that, we are the only advanced country that doesn't have paid sick leave. We're the only advanced country that doesn't have universal health care. And in times of chronic disease, then those who suffer as a consequence tend to be those at the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder. But in times of infectious disease, those gaps hurt absolutely everyone. They remind us that we're all on the same ship. And so I think we have to appeal to another strain in American history, which is the history of barn raisings, the history of efforts to work together to, the Homestead Acts, which is how my area in Oregon got settled in the first place, which was a question of public policy, providing a certain amount of opportunity, at least to white Americans historically. And those collective actions did help bring the country together and respond to challenges that we face. That's what we have to try to resume, learning from some of these other countries.
Nick, I also see a lot of Americans just completely detached from this. Going to beaches, going to bars, not hearing it, not seeing it, not feeling it. What's it going to take? I mean, we're all connected by phones, but for some reason the information is not filtering to large sectors of a population.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, one of the problems is the age distribution of the consequences of the coronavirus. I mean, the evidence from both South Korea and Italy and China is that young people in particular, typically will recover pretty well. And they have to understand that while they themselves may not be at severe risk, they are placing every elderly person, every person who has some immunodeficiency problem at severe risk. So somebody who's in their 20s may feel invincible, and the data is actually somewhat supportive of their own personal invincibility, but they may kill their grandmother, they may kill their grandfather, they may kill their neighbor. And so I think that's the ethic that we have to emphasize in people, that you are doing this for your community.
Yeah. The New York Times, Nicholas Kristof, thank you very much for coming on this morning.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.